Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming back to the stream. We have it's that time of the week where we have our craziest gaming news stories of the week. And you know what, this week you guys, we're talking about some crazy PS5 in-store news. We're hearing more reports that they're popping up in stores once again. We're gonna get into some crazy news about the Nintendo Switch outselling two of Sony's and Microsoft's biggest consoles. We'll get into which consoles those are, as well as some bonus news involving the $2 million Nintendo Entertainment System game, Super Mario Brothers. It's a scam! It's a sham! We're getting swindled, and I'll let you guys know why in a little bit. Let's go! Talk about first, you guys, is Nintendo Switch has now officially surpassed sales of the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I'm not surprised. Anyone in the chat, let me know if you're surprised or not. After we get into this news story, we'll talk about PS5 restocks that are showing up in stores. We got a lot of people hitting up social media with pictures of PS5s in stores, so we'll take a look at that. But first, let's get into this story. This comes to us via Comic Book Gaming. Nintendo Switch passes PS3 and Xbox 360 in lifetime sales. Nintendo Switch has officially surpassed both of the Sony and Microsoft consoles when it comes to lifetime sales to date. Nintendo has reported that the Switch has topped 89.04 million units sold in total, making it the 7th best-selling console of all time. And while Nintendo has now surpassed hardware from both Microsoft and Sony, the next console that the Switch will be pursuing in sales is another one released by Nintendo. As a whole, these updated sales of the Nintendo Switch account for all different versions of the platforms. This means that both standard Switch consoles, in addition the Switch Lite sales, are accounted for in this 89 million figure. Additionally, when the Switch OLED model releases later this October, any sales of that device will also contribute to this larger total. So they're factoring in all the systems in the Switch family, which is the Switch Lite, and then come October, it's gonna be the Nintendo Switch OLED. Speaking of which, guys, Nintendo Switch OLED is getting harder to find. It is getting harder to find, and we're now seeing these pop up on eBay. So as of right now, do not pay for a pre-order. Do not overpay for a pre-order. The systems are not out yet, and they are already getting scalped on eBay. So for the time being, just be a little bit patient. We still got about 2 more months till the release. Be a little bit more patient. I'll keep updating you guys with Switch OLED restock news, PS5 and Series X. 158 million units. PS2 sold 158 million units. Right now, Nintendo Switch is at 89. They're going after the PS2, you guys. It looks as though Walmart is restocking PS5 and Series X consoles without shipping past orders. It's funny that I came across this because I had some people on Twitter saying that they've been commenting on larger restock accounts like Jake Randall and YT Next Gen Gaming and Matt Swider, and they're saying that, well, what's Walmart doing? They haven't even shipped mine yet. So what are they doing, selling more than inventory than they have? And I think what Walmart has started doing is they've been known in the past to oversell consoles that they simply don't have, and instead of sending out, a couple of months ago they did this, and what they ended up doing was sending an updated, they sold digital editions, and then they didn't have enough of them to ship out, so instead they upgraded customers to the disc version free of charge. But instead of doing that again, what they're doing is they're actually making some consumers wait. They're making some consumers wait for their consoles to get shipped out. All right, so let's get into this PS5 in-store news that I wanted to talk about with you guys. I would love your opinions in the chat as we talk about it as well. And then we'll roll right into the Super Mario Brothers that just recently sold for 2 million. It's a sham. It's a scam. We're getting swindled, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And also we got some bonus and news stories to get into, as well as a highly popular PS2 game possibly getting ported to the PS5, and also something that Microsoft has done to their controllers recently that you might not have noticed, but we're going to see it starting to be implemented in the latest new controller that they just came out with. A lot of people, and we're gonna look at the thread right now. A lot of people on social media saying that they are getting their PS5s as walk-ins at Walmart. This article comes to us via Gaming Intel. You don't have to wait for the next Walmart PS5 restock, as new reports indicate the retailer has stock in store now. Walmart is one of the best places to grab a PS5, and a new report suggests that now could be the time to get one, despite many buyers complaining about Walmart's PS5 shipping time, which we just talked about right now. The retailer actually appears to have stock after all, but you won't be finding them online. It appears some lucky buyers are confirming that their local Walmart has a new PS5 stock in stores available for walk-ins. Could this be the end of the PS5 stock shortage that Sony promised, or is it simply Walmart aiming to stock its stores secretly? What's causing buyers to panic? So if we look at, there's a thread on Reddit that's going around. With the PS5 being the fastest selling console of all time, it's no surprise that the company is keeping things quiet. But if you've got a local store, it could be worth a visit. And we've been talking about this for a while now. You know, I dropped videos a couple of months ago saying how a local Walmart of mine had PS5s in stores. They were planning to do it in store, and they backtracked on it because of the pandemic not getting under control. And we've talked about already 2 stores in Texas, 2 cities in Texas that some people have reported finding PS5s at as well. So another user, SS4 Hawk, says they called their local store. This happened this past weekend. Reports that they called their local store and were told that they had PS5 consoles in stock to sell. So this Reddit user says it was Dallas-Fort Worth area. Another user says, I call my Walmart every once in a while, no luck. And then he's the original poster who posted the picture says, I have been hearing Mondays is the best bet. Friend of mine got his the same way 2 months ago. On a Monday, he went Sunday and asked. They said they couldn't sell them until the next day. And how he was able to get his in store. He says and claims that I called ahead of time. I was checking on a Walmart 2 blocks away, but they would not answer their phone. So I tried the one 4 miles down the road off the highway, and they said they had 2, so I drove like a maniac and I got it. Guys, if you did not hear the news recently, a sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers 2 just recently sold for $2 million. It was in all the headlines this week. We had IGN, we had New York Times, we had Kotaku. They had the headline and it was sprawled all across the social media websites. On Facebook, you opened up Facebook, it said $2 million copy of Super Mario Brothers sold for $2 million. And it made millions upon millions of gamers out there scramble to their Super Mario game and look at it and say, will this game make me become a millionaire tomorrow? Guys, I'm here to shatter some dreams. I'm sorry to say it's a scam. It's a scam. It's all a scam. So, and I'll tell you why. Let's get into the article that talks about the $2 million Super Mario game. And we're going to take a deep dive. We're going to take a deep dive, you guys, into why this is not what it seems. Why this was not truly sold for that much money. Alright, this comes to us via The Verge, and they said, unopened copy of Super Mario Brothers sells for a record $2 million. An anonymous buyer, this is our first red flag here, Sale price of that 1985 game broke a record that was set less than a month ago when a sealed copy of Super Mario 64 went for 1.56 million at auction. Super Mario 64, by the way, was graded by the exact same grading company, which is Wata Games, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. It also was auctioned off the exact same way that the $2 million Mario Brothers game was auctioned off. Over the past year, the record for the most expensive video game has been broken numerous times as the demand for childhood collectibles remains hot. Last July, a copy of Super Mario Brothers went for 114 grand at auction. In November, a copy of Super Mario 3 broke that record, selling for 156,000. Then that record was smashed yet again in April when a copy of Super Mario Bros. Went for 660,000 at auction, followed in July by a copy of The Legend of Zelda that went for 870 grand. While most of the records were broken by vintage games that sold at auctions, the $2 million Super Mario Bros. Game sale went a slightly different route. Rally buys games and other collectibles like comic books and turns them into a small companies that people can purchase shares in. Rally deals mainly with selling automobiles, and they just recently, this article makes it look like Rally has been in the game for years upon years, but that's not the case. Rally they auctioned automobiles. They barely got into the game and comic books industry just recently. But how they do their auctions is that they turn them, so they buy these games and these comic books and turn them into small companies that people can purchase shares in, like an investment. If someone makes an offer to buy the collectible, those investors vote whether to sell it. Rally bought the Super Mario Bros. Game for 140 grand last April, the Times reported, and shareholders approved the sale to the anonymous collector. The fact that we don't know who bought this is very suspicious to me. In my opinion, that anonymous collector could be working for Rally, and what they're doing is that they're upselling to themselves, basically, and this is getting the notoriety and the advertising out there. It works because larger websites like IGN and New York Times have literally quoted that Rally, the company who buys games and buys comic books, sold this game for 2 million. So it's working, you know, their strategy is working, you guys. And so let's get into the people who grade the games. The fact that, you know, they're saying that this game was graded 9.8. Okay. The company who is now becoming really well known for grading these games are called Wata Games. And what you do is you send your sealed game to them and they slap a number on it. I don't know how they come up with the number, and I don't know what the difference, like, who are the people at Wata Games? Like, why are they so qualified to slap a number on a game? Like, they can call this like a 9.8 or whatever, and I could see the game and I'm like, well, it doesn't look that new. The shrink wrap looked like it's fake. So I'm really trying to understand how they go about grading their games. And this company, you know, really has blown up recently with submitting games with grades like what we see here. Wata certified. What is Wata Games and why does it matter, and why does it... It's like if I go out today and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grade my Super Nintendo controller. Guys, this controller is a 9.7. There's no scratches. It's never been played. I'm gonna slap a seal on it that says 1VideoGameDude, appraised by 1VideoGameDude. It's a 9.7. What I'm trying to say is that these larger companies are really just creating this hype for themselves. It's really an inside job. So what I'm just saying is that, you know, I don't believe anybody bought this game for 2 million. And the way they the way they're saying that it's $2 million in shares. I mean, they're talking now about shares of a company, and then people in that company had to vote for the buyer to be approved. It's very convoluted, very confusing, and I think that confusion, a lot of people are not familiar with how shares work. $1 million on Mario Brothers. The fact that we don't know the buyer, it's very secretive in nature, and I honestly think this was an inside job from Wata Games and the company Rally that just recently entered the collectibles market. So I think Rally and Wata Games are really just trying to, I think these two companies are really trying to bring more attention to their name, and I believe this is an example of that. So what I'm trying to say is that this is giving a lot of hope to people that, like, oh, just because you have a sealed copy of Mario Brothers, that you're gonna be a millionaire. It's not gonna happen to everyday people like us, you guys. That guy who has there's a lot of sealed copies of Mario Brothers on eBay, and they're not selling. That person who put it up for 100 grand, they're not gonna sell it, and that's the reality of this collectibles. I think it's like, honestly, it's like artificial demand is what we're seeing here, and that's just my 2 cents. I would totally love to hear from you guys. And a big shout out to Michael. Cultureofgaming.com is who he writes for, if you guys want to check him out. Moss, thank you so much, man. Much appreciated. And thank you guys and girls so much for spending a little bit of your evening with me tonight. Love you guys 100%. And until we see you next stream, stay safe, stay awesome. You're cool. Guys, we're gonna see you later, man. Yeah! We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon, you guys.